Okay, Sec 4 EMATS mock exam paper 1. All right, so for question 1A, you just have to key this in your calculator and churn out the answer. So when you do so, right, they ask for 4 SF. So what you want to do is to report at least 5, okay? So 0 0.022309. Okay, so 4 SF, right, it starts from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth number here. So 0, 9, it is closer towards 1, right? So the final answer should be 0.02231. When rounded off to 4 SF. Part B, express 51 whole 1/3% as a fraction in its simplest form. So anything with a percentage symbol means is that number out of 100. So you can just write 51 whole 1/3 over 100. Now all you have to do is just key this into your calculator. You will get 77 over 150. So that's the answer. Okay, question 2. Factorize the following fully. So what you want to do is factorize y out first. So that is 4x squared minus 1. So once you're done here, right, observe the 4x squared 1. The 4 is a square number, 1 is also a square number, and then there's a minus sign in the middle. So this should remind you of your Sec 2 special product where a square minus b square. So you want to write it this way, 2x bracket square minus 1 square. This is y bracket 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. So this is your answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So Amber, John, Peter are given a sum of money in the ratio of 2, 8, 4. So total units is 2 plus 8 plus 14. Amber received $180 less than Peter. So to prevent yourself from making careless mistakes, you may want to write this down quickly. A is 2 units, J is 8 units, and then P is 14 units. So you take Peter minus Amber, you'll get 12 units. The difference is $180. So the question is asking for the total sum of money, right? If you take 2 plus 8, 10, 10 plus 14 is 24 units. So write down 24 units just times 2, okay? 180 times 2, that's $360. Now let's move on to question 4. Okay, given that 5 to the power minus x times 25 equals to 7 to the power 0. Okay, so your base number has to be 5. So write down 5 to the power minus k times. So 25 itself is 5 squared, and then 7 to the power 0 is 1. Okay, so 1 is a very versatile number because basically any number to the power of 0 will give you 1. So in this question, that any number is 5. Okay, you can choose the any number to be 5, so it's 5 to the power 0. Okay, so from here we can add the power, so it becomes 5 to the power of minus k plus 2 equals to 5 to the power 0. So from here we can extract that minus k plus 2 equals to 0, k equals to 2. That's all. Okay, part B, simplify the following. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is write down 5x4 over 6y z. Since there's a division, write times, so it's 18y cubed over 25x squared. Okay, so over here, this is what I will recommend, but if you want to do it in your own way, please go ahead, okay? So what I recommend is try not to do cross cancellation because it tends to get messy. Plus, you have a calculator, so you don't really need to do cross cancellation that much. So to play it safe, you just take numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So 5 times 8 is 90, so write down 90. Then you just write down x to the power 4, y to the power 3 over 6 times 25 is 150. There's x squared, y, z. So once you're done here, right? Now all you have to do is just interact. The number will interact the number, x will interact x, and y will interact y, and z will interact with z. Okay? So 90 over 50, that'll give you 3 over 5. Then x power 4, x power 2, that'll be x squared. Y cubed y, this is y squared. And z, right? Just write that down here. So this way, right, you won't get careless mistakes. Okay? So this is your final answer. Okay, let's observe 5a. Given that a equals to 2 cubed times 5 to the power of 15 times 10 to the power of 12, explain why a is a perfect cube. Because if you observe the power, they are all in multiples of 3. So how you want to write it in detail is, you write down the powers. So be as specific as you can be. So the powers of, so you notice 2, 5, 7, they actually use prime numbers to factorize a certain number a, right? So write down the powers of all the prime factors are in multiples of 3. That's all you gotta do. Okay, now let's move on to question 5b and 5c. Okay, given that b equals to the following, find the lowest common multiple of a and b. So write down a equals to 2 cubed times 5, 15 times 7, 12. B is 2 to the power 6 times 3 times 5 to the power of 8 times 7 to the power of 9. Okay, observe A and B, right? So if you want to find the lowest common multiple, you simply write all the prime factors. 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. After you observe, since lowest common multiple, you choose the highest power from each prime vector. So between 2 to the power 3 to the power 6, select 6. 3, there's no competition, so just leave it alone. So it's definitely 5 power 15. And lastly, 7 to the power of 12. So that's your answer. Okay, the next one, right? The number m, which equals to b times k. So m itself equals to b times k. So write down b, so b is 2 to the power 6 times 3 times 5 power 8 times 7 power 9. You're going to multiply this with a certain positive integer value. So it's also positive, okay? A certain integer value. So to make it into a perfect square. So for it to be a perfect square, your power must be even number. So this is 1 and this is 9. So multiply with 3 to make it 3 to the power of 2. Multiply with 7 to get you 7 to the power of 10. So they are all even numbers, means it's a square number. So k is 3 times 7, which is 21. Okay, question 6. Okay, the one rule to complete the square. Make sure your x square, the coefficient is 1. Not 4, not 9, not 16. It has to be 1. Okay. So lucky for us, the coefficient of x square is 1, right? So write down x squared minus. So you want to, if it's a square equation, right, it will follow this one, the special product. So since this is not a square equation like this, we're going to force our way to make it look like a square equation. So I'm going to write this as 2ab, so it's 2x3. Now there's no b square, right? So I'm just simply going to add it myself, b squared. Since I add this myself, I should simply remove it to balance out the equation so that it will equals to this exactly, okay? Next, observe this part here. This a square minus 2ab plus b square, right? So this is just x minus 3 bracket square. Minus 3 square. Just not minus 3 bracket square, it's just minus 3 square. So it's minus 9 minus 7. So your final answer is x minus 3 squared minus 16. Okay, next, you want to sketch the graph, right? Stating clearly the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept is over here, -7. Because when x is 0, y is immediately -7. Okay, so you should do a checklist at the side. Y-intercept is 0, 7. Now your x-intercept, right? Use the completed square equation to solve it. So you write down x minus 3 square minus 16 equals to 0. Bring the minus 16 over. It's positive 16. So x minus 3 equals to 4. Or x minus 3 equals to minus 4. So x equals to 7. X equals to minus 1. So your two coordinates are 7, 0, minus 1, 0. Okay. Next, you have to state your turning point as well, right? So why do we complete the square? From the completed square equation, we can extract the turning point, which is 3, minus 16. Okay, so right, before you go and sketch, at the side of a paper, you just draw a very botched looking graph, okay? It doesn't have to be entirely accurate. So we know that the x-intercept is -1, which is closer to 0 here, so -1, and this is 7, right? Then your turning point is somewhere here, -3, 16. Sorry, 3, minus 16, so somewhere down below. And it cuts the y-intercept at -7. So your graph should look something like this. Okay? So once you get a rough idea, what you want to do is don't plot the points first. Draw a graph such as tilted more towards the right side. Then you bring it down. Okay, then you put your points. -1, 7. This is -7. The turning point here is 3, minus 16. So this is y equals to x squared minus 6x minus 7. So write down the equation of the line of symmetry. So the line of symmetry will cut the turning point, will pass through the turning point always. So this line of symmetry will be x equals to 3. So your answer to part C will be x equals to 3. You know, let's move on to the next question. Question 7. Okay, calculate the value of cosine APB. Okay, so always remember cosine APB will equals to, so before we do this, for example, if you have cosine 150 degrees, it will equals to cosine 180 minus whatever this angle is, okay? 30 degrees. But do not forget to put the minus sign over here, okay? For sine 150 degrees, it will equals to sine 180 minus 150, which is 30 degrees. For this case, it's positive. Don't you change anything. Only for cosine, right? This one will be negative. So cosine APB will equals to cosine 180 minus this angle will be the angle inside here, PBC. PBC. Then just put the minus sign. Okay. So cosine PBC is adjacent over hypo, right? The hypotenuse. Let's go and find out what the hypotenuse is. So it's actually 8 squared plus 15 squared. Then you square root it. That is P. So you will get 17. So the answer is minus 8 over 17. Okay, now that PB, right, we know it's 17 cm. So let's go and find X. So we can use the area of the triangle to figure this one out. So the area of triangle is half times base times perpendicular height. So 8 times 15. This will equals to half times another pair of base and height, which is 17 times X. Okay. So from here you can cancel the half. You just have to deal with 120 equals to 17 times X. Therefore, X is 120 over 17, which equals to 7.0588. Round it off to 7.06 cm. That's your answer. Okay, now let's move on to question 8. Okay, now for question 8. Use the diagram to estimate the median marks obtained by the student. Okay, so this one, right, we have a total of 300 students here, okay? So what you want to do is you take 300 divided by 300 plus 1, then divided by 2. So you will get a mark of 150.5. Okay, so this part here, let me just zoom in. So if you look at 150.5 on this graph here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every box represents 10. So 150.5, it's so close to this line that we can therefore take this line to then measure. So it's at this point here, right? You see it's in the middle of a square. So trace it down, trace this point down. You realize it's 42, 43. So the median marks obtained by the students is 43. Okay, so that's A part 1, right? A part 1, the answer is 43. Now for A part 2, what they're asking for is the interquartile range. Okay, so how do you find interquartile? Interquartile is basically upper quartile minus the lower quartile, which means the 75 percentile minus the 25 percentile. Okay, so what you want to do is you take 300, okay? So I'll do some working here. Okay, 75% of 300 is 225. 25% of 300 is 75. Okay, so this 210, 220, 225 has to be in the middle over here. So at this point here, so trace it down. So you will get 56 for the upper quartile. You're going to subtract the lower quartile. So lower quartile is at 75, right? So 50, 60, 70. So 75. So right here. Or 50. So this 60, 70. So 75 is here. Middle, right? So trace it down. So actually it touches this line here. So erase this part here, trace it down here. So this is 29. So 56 minus 29. So 56 minus 29 will give you 27, and that is your interquartile range. Okay, then for part B, right, the top P% of the cohort will receive a distinction in the examination. If the minimum mark they must be obtained to receive a distinction is 70 marks, find the value of P. So at 70 marks over here, trace. You realize that it's in the middle of a square, right? Trace it down here. This is 300, 290, this is 285. Which means, right, from 285 to 300, these are the students that scored 70 or more, which means 15 students. So for part C, 15 students scored 70 marks or more, right? So take 15 over 300 times 100%, that will give you your 5%. The answer is 5% for part B. Okay, for part C, right, use the cumulative frequency to construct a box and whisker plot for the same set of data. Okay, so this is the marks down below, right? It starts from 0 till 80, correct? So you want to draw a line from here to here. Draw a line from here to here. Make sure the lines are the same measurement. Okay, next, right? You're gonna, so the box and whisker, inside the box, there are 3 lines. The one on the left, the most left, will tell you the lower quartile. The one on the extreme right will tell you the upper quartile. And there's a line in the middle, right? That is your median, okay? So your lower quartile we measured earlier on was 29. So this is 30. So 29 has to be in the middle here. Make sure you draw a line in the middle. Next, your upper quartile is 56. So from 60, 58, 56 over here. So before you draw your median, just close this box over here. Okay, so now once we're done with this, measure your median. Your median is 43, right? As we calculated earlier on, so it's 42. So draw a line here, indicating that this is your median. This is your box and whisker. Okay, now let's move on to question 9. Okay, this one, right? Do not expand your denominator. So write down 5x plus 1 over 2x minus 3 squared. So you can actually flip this in 2x minus 3 as well. When you flip it, right, the sign will change to minus. So it's now 2 over 2x minus 3. Okay, make the denominator the same. So multiply 2x minus 3, multiply 2x minus 3. So this is 5x plus 1 minus 2 bracket 2x minus 3 over 2x minus 3 squared. So it's 5x plus 1 minus 4x plus 6. So this x plus 7 over 2x minus 3 squared. Okay, question 10. Solve the following inequality. So what you want to do is extract this part out first. Minus 4 is less than 5x minus 2. And work this one. So minus 2 is less than 5x. X is more than minus 2 over 5. Now on this side, extract this part out now. So it's 5x minus 2. Shift this over, so it's 2x is more than 14. Sorry, 2x is less than equals to 14, so x is less than equals to 6. Okay, so how do you give your final answer? So it's a good habit to use a number line to figure out your final answer. So on your number line, just mark 2 points out. That's all you need to do. Just mark out minus 205. Then you just mark out 7. So for the first one, goes this way. And for the second one, is a shaded circle. It's also less than. Okay, apologies. This one x is more than minus 205, right? Okay. So I should draw the arrow this side. And for x less than equals to 7, it's a shaded circle, it goes this side. Okay. So draw a dotted line here. The overlapping part is your answer. So just do a quick shade. So the answer can be easily read off from this, where x is between these two numbers, right? Except it doesn't take into account minus 205, but it's inclusive of 7. So this is your answer. Okay, so for part B, hence write down the smallest integer that satisfies the following. So based on this, your smallest integer will be 0. 0 is considered an integer. So therefore your answer to part B is 0. Question 11. Sorry, question 11. Let's go to question 11. Okay, now when you observe the shaded part, right, it's actually quite easy. It's just the big sector minus the small sector. That's all. So don't forget the formula is half r squared theta, where theta is x. Okay. Now the next thing to take note is ON and OQ. So ON is 12 cm, right? So what is OQ? So make OQ the subject. OQ is actually 3 over 2 of ON. Just bring down the 2. Which means 3 over 2, bracket 12. It's 18 cm. This part here is 18 cm. Okay. So write down the area of the big sector minus the area of the small sector. So it's half 18 square theta. Theta is x in this case. Minus half 12 square theta. So this equals to 127.8. Okay, so throw in your values. Okay, so before you do this, right, you can actually factorize half x out. Okay. So you're just dealing with 18 square minus 12 square. So half x, 18 square minus 12 square is actually 19. That's actually 180 square. That's 180. So it's just 90x equals to 1278. X is therefore 1.42 radian. Okay, let's move on to question 12. Show that angle OAC is 90 minus x. Okay, so you have to give a reason, right? So this angle at the center and this angle at the circumference, they all spring from the same line AC. So you can write down that angle AOC equals to 2 times angle ABC, which is 2x. So write your reasoning. Angle at center is twice angle at circumference. Okay, so from here, right, from the center, you draw a line to the circumference. From the center, you also draw another line to the circumference in C and E, right? So which means these two lines are the radius, creating a triangle OAC, which is an isosceles triangle, right? So you can just write down that angle OAC is actually 180 degrees minus 2x divided by 2, which equals to 90 minus x. The reasoning is base angle of an isosceles triangle. Okay, now for part B, right, they tell you that angle BAO is 54 degrees. So BAO, so this part here is 54 degrees. And they also tell you that OCB is 11. This tiny angle here is 11 degrees. So they want you to find the value of x. Okay, so for part B, so how do you do this? So first, what you want to do is, you want to go and find out what's BAC in terms of x. So this whole angle here. Okay, so write down angle BAC equals to 54 plus 90 minus x. So this will be 144 degrees minus x, okay? So this big angle is basically 54 plus whatever they got in part A, OAC, right? 90 minus x, which is here. And then mark, you get 144 minus x. So write that down. This big angle is 144 minus x. Next, what you want to do is write down what is angle BCA. This one right here. So angle BCA. So remember, it's an isosceles triangle, which means OCA is also 90 minus x, right? So in this case, BCA will be 90 minus x minus the 11 degrees. You get 79 minus x. So angles in a triangle, sum of angles in a triangle, just take x will be equals to 180 degrees minus 144 minus x minus 79 minus x. Right, so from here this 180 So you will have 2x minus 43 equals to x. So therefore, x equals to 43 degrees. That is your answer to part B. Okay, next one. So based on this this graph, right? This distance time graph, okay? So it says that the average speed of the cyclist between 8 a.m. till 8 and 8:36 is 405 of the average speed of the cyclist between 9:10 and 9:55. So what it means is, if I take the speed of this and put it as a fraction over the speed of this, I'll get 405. Okay? So how do you find the speed of this? In a distance time graph, the gradient is the velocity of the speed. Okay? So this is a distance time graph. The gradient is the speed, right? So d minus 7,200 over, okay. Take note that time is in minutes, right? So it's best for you to do it in terms of hours. So 36 minutes. So you take 36 over 60, you get 3 over 5 here. Over here, 45 minutes is 3/4 of an hour. So just put 3 over 5. So I don't want to put so much fractions over another fraction. So instead of writing like that, I'll just put divide by the gradient over here, which is d over 3/4. This will give me 4 over 5. That's all. Okay. So before you do anything with the division turning to multiplication, right? Focus on this. If your fraction is a denominator, you can flip it as a reciprocal and write it as 5d minus 9,200 times 5, which is 36,003. Divide by 4d over 3 equals to 4 over 5. Now what you want to do is flip this fraction. So 5d minus 36,000 over 3 times 3 over 4 equals to 4 over cancel, cancel. Okay, do your cross multiplication. You get 25d minus 180,000 equals to 16d, which means 9d is 18,000. D is 180. D is 20,000. So the value of D is 20,000. Okay, question 14. The points 8, comma minus 2 and 0, comma 4 lie on the line L. Find the equation of the line L. Okay. So to find the equation line L, find the gradient first. M equals to 4 minus minus 2 over 0 minus 8, which is minus 3 over 4. So this coordinate 0, comma minus 4 means there's a point on the y-axis, which means This is also the y-intercept. So you can immediately write the answer as y equals to minus 3 over 4, x plus 4. Okay, part B, there's a line M that's parallel to line L, which means the gradient of line M should also be minus 3 over 4. And it passes through the point 4, comma k. So find equation of the line M in terms of k. So right now y equals to minus 3 over 4, x plus c. We just have to find c in terms of k. So when x equals to 4, y equals to k. So right now when x equals to 4, y equals to k. So k equals to minus 3 over 4. So c equals to k plus 3. So the equation of M is y equals to minus 3 over 4 x plus k plus 3. Okay, question 15. How to approach this question? Now you see all the elements present, right? Just write them down. Oh, 1, 2. So this one has to fit into this criteria, okay? There's 3, 6, 9, 12. Odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Factor of 24. So 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12. We exclude 24 because the range is up till 12. So list the elements present in P union Q, but with a prime over here, which means it's the complete opposite. So let's go and figure out what is P union Q is first. The P union Q is 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12. So therefore, P union Q, the prime, will be the complete opposite. It's just 2, 4, 8, and 10. So the elements present are 2, 4, 8, and 10. So make sure you put this bracket over here in your answer. If you can do so, you're working. Okay, describe in words the type of number represented by P intersect R intersect Q prime. Okay. So when P intersect R, you will have, this is P and this R. You can write down 3, 6, and 12. Then this has to intersect anything that is not this, right? So what is Q prime? So Q prime will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So for this set to intersect with this, we can only extract 6 and 12, right? So how do we describe this? It is simply multiples of 6. Okay, when you write multiples of 6, don't stop there because it's a bit too big. Multiples of 6 can go on forever, right? Make sure you write down the restriction. Multiples of 6 within the range of 1, 12. Okay, question 16. Measure angle ABC. Use a protractor and measure angle ABC. You should get 98 degrees. Okay. Now for part B, right, on the diagram, construct a perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay, so what you want to do here, right, measure the length of AB first. So I'm giving just an example, okay? So let's say when you measure ABC, you get a value. Let's say that value is 10 cm, for example, okay? What you want to do is from A, you want to measure slightly more than half, which means half of 10 cm is 5, right? You don't want to measure 5. You want to measure at least from 5.1 onwards. So we recommend like 6 or 7 cm. So from A, you measure up till 7 cm, okay? Once you do that, right, use your compass, measure the 7 cm and draw an arc over here, okay? Like a portion of a circle, draw it here. Now that same 7 cm, measure it from B and draw an arc over here, okay? And as you're drawing at this side, right, make sure you draw it on this side as well, the arc, okay? The two arcs will intersect on this side and on this side. The intersection point, connect them, that is your perpendicular bisector straight away, okay? Part C, on the diagram, construct the angle bisector of ABC. So this is the angle ABC. So what you want to do is take your compass and from here, measure any length that you prefer. Let's say 3 cm, measure 3 cm and mark it out. Measure 3 cm and mark it out here, okay? So I repeat again, you measure 3 cm, you mark here, and then you mark here. Then take the sharp end of your compass and wherever you marked the 3 cm, right, place the sharp end of the compass over here, all right? And you draw an arc. Now take the sharp end of the compass and bring it to this side where you also marked your 3 cm, right? Place it there, and then you draw another arc. The intersection of these two arcs is your angle bisector of ABC. Okay, and draw your line. Now for part D, right, label a possible point X on the diagram such that firstly it's equidistant from AB and BC. So you can mark X, right, to be any point on this line, okay? And the second criteria is it needs to be nearer to B than to A, right? Okay, so right from here all the way to the intersection point, this point here will be nearer to B than to A. Anything exceeding this intersection point will be off. Okay, so any point on this line here, okay, up till the intersection. Okay, calculate the angle that the diagonal BH makes with the face diagonal ADHE. Okay, so if you tilt the diagram, right, you'll see that BH is actually the hypotenuse of a right angled triangle. Okay, so what you want to do is connect H to A first. Okay, so now I'm going to draw this right angled triangle, like upright, okay, where the top point is B and then the bottom is A and H. So B to A and A to H, then you just connect it like this, okay? So this is point B, this is point A, and then this is point H. So BA is 15.1 cm. Okay, what you want to do is find HA. Okay, so HA, right, if you notice, you can use Pythagoras theorem to find what is HA. So right now, HA equals to square root 9.2 square plus 4.5 square. So that will give you 10.24158. Okay, so the question wants you to find this angle over here. So now you can use tangent opposite over adjacent. So tangent BHA equals to 15.1 over, so I write this a bit later. 15.1, 10.24158. So angle BHA equals to tangent inverse of this fraction. That should give you 55.85. So it's 55.9 degrees. Okay, question 18. So you only change $830 into euros when the exchange rate is €1 to $1.16. Then she spent 500 euros, then she changed the money back. Okay, so what you want to do is write down $1.16 is €1. So if it's $830, just take 830 over 1.16 times 1. So that will give you 715.517. Okay, kindly take note, right? This value here, right? Do not round it off. Okay, in your calculator, just leave it to the decimal all the way till the end, right? Now, 715.517, you subtract $500 because that's what she spent. So this is what she's left with, is 215.517. So keep the calculator value and save it there. Now, if you were to keep the calculator value and then you multiply it back with 1.16 to convert it back to dollars, you will actually get an exact value of $250. Okay. All right. Question 19. Okay, if you read this question right, at the end of 2021, there were 27,000 rhinos living in the wild. Then the numbers are expected to increase exponentially by 3% each year. So if you realize that this is actually increasing like in terms of compound interest, okay? You know the compound interest formula, right? So it's increasing in that formula because it's exponential. So all you have to do is write down 27,000 times 1 plus 3 over 100 to the power of the number of times. So it's 4. Put this in calculator, you should get 30388.7. It is 30389. That's your answer. Okay, question 28. Expand and simplify. So just use the rainbow method. 5x times 3x is 15x squared. 5x times 5 is 25x. Minus 3 times 3x is minus 9x. And the last one is minus 15. So this equals to 15x squared plus 16x minus 15. Okay, part B, rearrange this such that you make B the subject. Right, so right now 4AB equals to 3B minus 1. What you want to do is bring everything that has B to one side and bring everything that does not have B to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to shift minus 1 over. I'm going to shift 4AB to the other side. So 1 equals to 3B minus 4AB. Factorize the B out. Okay, so I'll continue on from here. 1 equals to B bracket 3 minus 4A. So therefore, B simply equals to 1 over 3 minus 4A. Okay, 21A, complete the matrix to represent the information. All right, so in the Lee family, there are 2 adults and 3 children. So right now, 2, 3. In the Tan family, there are 4 adults and 1 child. Write that down. Okay, now for part B, given that P equals to M times N, so the matrix N times the matrix N to give you 525 and 575. So use an algebraic method to find the values of X and Y and show your working clearly. Okay. So P actually equals to 525, 575, right? So write this down. A 2 by 2 matrix multiplying with a 2 by 1 matrix to give you a 2 by 1 matrix. Okay, so multiply, so 2 times X will give you 2X, 3 times Y will give you 3Y. So this should give you 5. Okay, you write this as a matrix first, right? I think it's best to write it like that. Next one, 4 times x is 4x. Then 1 times y is y. So this will give you the matrix 5, 2, 5, 5, 7, 5. Okay, so from here, right, we can now do the simultaneous equation. So before that, write down your equation. Okay, so write it down on this side. 2x plus 3y equals to 5, 2, 5. That's equation 1. 4x plus y equals to 5, 7, 5. That's equation 2. So from equation 1, just take 1 times 2. You'll get 4x plus 6y equals to 1, 0, 5, 0. That's equation 2. So take equation 3 and subtract it with equation 2. It's 1, 0, 5, 0 minus 5, 7, 5. So 5y equals to 4, 7, 5. So y equals to 95. Sub y equals to 95 into equation 2. So 4x equals to 480. X equals to 120. So x equals to 120, y equals to 95. Okay, so part 2, they want you to explain what each element in P represents. So each element in P represents the cost of flight. For Lee and Tan family, respectively. Okay, the next one is a pattern question. Okay, so by now you should be familiarized with two things, okay? One is the formula. The first number plus n minus 1 times the difference. Okay, then the next thing you must take note, right? Whenever you see numbers like 4, 9, 16, 25, they are all square numbers. Okay, so now look at the number of rows. It's just 3, 5, 7, 9. The next one should be 11. This is 4, 9, 16, 25. 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5. So this has to be 6 times 6, which is 36. Okay, find the number of rows in diagram n. Okay, so firstly, let's write the formula out. You start off with the number 3 plus n minus 1 times the number of difference, the difference being 2. Okay, so let's create the formula first. So it's 3 plus 2n minus 2, which is 2n minus 2n plus 1. So if it's diagram n, just replace n with the capital N. So when n equals to n, the answer is simply 2n plus 1. Okay, next one. The number of beats in diagram n. So this is a square number. So this is 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5. So you realize based on the number, if it's diagram 1, you just add 1, you get 2. Diagram 2 is 3, 3 is 4, 4 is 5. So if it's n, it would be n plus 1 times n plus 1. So it's n plus 1 squared. Okay, part C. Amber wants to make a pendant with 25 rows. Calculate the number of beads used to make this pendant. So based on the formula in B part 1, if 2n plus 1, let's use 2n plus 1 equals to 25. So 2n is 24. N is 12, right? So if n is 12, the number of bits will be 12 plus 1, 13. And 13 square is your answer. So therefore, answer is 169. Okay, question 23. Find the largest size of the angle in the pentagon. Okay, so pentagon of 5 sides, so n minus 2 times 180 degrees. So if it's 5 sides, just 5 minus 2 times 180 degrees. Apologies about this. This should be degree. Okay. So this equals to 540 degrees. Take 540, subtract the 124. You get 416. So 416 is made up of all this x, which is 8x. X is 416 over 8, which is 52. So select the largest algebra in this and compare it 1 to 4. So 52 times 3 is 156. So 156 is greater than 1 to 4. Therefore, the answer is simply 156 degrees. Okay, now for this type of question, right, read this carefully, okay? So the kinetic energy of a particle that is represented by the letter E is directly proportional to the square of its speed v. So the equation is E equals to k v squared. So when a particle moves at a certain speed, the kinetic energy is 10 kilojoules. So how do you approach this question? Okay, this is what you want to write. When v equals to x, then E equals to 10. So what happens when this speed is doubled, right? So write down E equals to, not E, sorry. Write down 10 equals to k v to kx squared. So write down when v is doubled, which means v equals to 2x. What happens? So kv squared will now become k2x squared, which becomes k 4x squared. So bring the 4 in front. So this is 4kx squared. Now observe the kx squared. It's from here, right? Kx squared equals to 10. So replace kx squared with 10. So it's 4 bracket 10, which is 40. So answer here is 40. Okay, part B. If the speed of the particle is halved, find the ratio of the original kinetic energy to the corresponding kinetic energy. So E equals to kv squared. So if the velocity is halved, E will equals to k half v squared, which is 1/4 kv squared. So 1/4 kv is actually 1/4 E. So write down E is to 1/4 E. So you times 4 on both sides. Cancel the E out. It should be 4 is to 1. So answer is 4 is to 1. Okay, question 25. John decorates each cake with a ribbon around the outside. The length of the ribbon for the larger cake is 66 cm. Find the length of the ribbon for the smaller cake. So this is based on similar objects concept, okay? So what you want to do is let the length of the ribbon for the smaller cake be x, okay? Write this down. So x over 66 cm should be equals to 6 cm over 9 cm. So therefore, x is simply 6 over 9 times 66. You will get 44 cm straight away. Okay. Now, John uses 1,600 meter cube of the cake mixture to make the smaller cake. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let the volume of the cake mixture he uses to make the larger cake be y. So write down y over 1,600. This will equals to the big over small this time around, just 9 over 6. Make sure you put the cube because you're dealing with volume. So y is simply 9 over 6 to the power of 30 times 1,600. You get 5,400 cm cubed straight away. Okay, for part A, explain what happens between 1409 and 1410. You can just simply write down the train stopped at this particular location. That's all. And be specific when you describe. So between 14 and 1410, the train stopped at this particular location for 1 minute. That's all. Because this is a distant time graph. So if there's no movement, means it's not it's horizontal, it means not moving. Okay. Okay, part B. So what you want to do, right? For this one, find the average speed of the train journey from this stop to this stop. Give your answer in kilometers per hour. Okay, so if it's average speed, right, it will also include the time when the train did not move. Okay, so what you want to do is calculate the time over here. So this has to be 13:54. And right here, the time is 14:19. So 14:19 and 13:54, what's the duration? It's 25 minutes, okay? And the total distance taken is 6.4 kilometers. So it's just distance over time. So write down 6.4 divided by 25 over 16. Key this in calculator, you'll immediately get 15.36 kilometers per hour. Okay. Calculate the temperature at 4 p.m. Okay, this one is very easy. Just take -3 plus 10. You will get 7 degrees. Okay, then for part D, right, T equals to 2 minus H over 130. So just write down T equals to 2 minus, replace H with 780. You will get -4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that's all for paper 1.